The Inner Circle companions are elite secretive warriors of the Dark Angels chapter, chosen to guard heroes or undertake covert missions. Armed with Calibanite greatswords and heavy bolt pistols, they cut silently through enemies, wreathed in incense smoke from their braziers of judgment. These sinister champions fight with unparalleled skill, embodying the enigmatic and deadly nature of the Unforgiven. Hello my friends, my name is Max, and today we are building one of these Inner Circle companions. This is a very new set, it was released in 2024, and I really like this set because it allows you to build 3 Inner Circle companions, all of them in different positions. If we go through the instruction set, we will find that every single mini can be built into various positions. So this is the first one. This is the second one with a standard or with a greatsword. And this is the third one. If you were lucky to get Dark Angels Battle Force box that we opened recently on this channel, you are able to build 6 unique minis from 2 of Inner Circle companion sets. And today we're gonna build the first guy. I really like the way this guy looks like, so I think we're gonna go and build this fine chap. The way it works is very simple to understand, why you know exactly what to do. These instructions can be a little bit cryptic, so let's make them slightly less cryptic. You start with building the torso. You have to do all these instructions first, and after that, you either build this guy or this guy. Since we are building this guy, we're gonna follow the blue instruction set. And the blue instruction set will basically allow us to build his arms, shoulders, head, backpack, and the greatsword. That is how he will look like in the end. If we were in the business of building the green one, which we will at some point, we will follow the green instructions, skipping the blue instructions completely. So the green instructions would start here, and then we will do all these things arriving to this lad. And this is, by the way, how the blue guy looks like. It's a bit confusing, but you know that this is the blue guy. The reason they show it here with the green check mark is that, by default, the first mini that you are building is kinda this. And that is why they consider this to be a canonical version and this like an optional version. But you can build both of them from the first instruction set. And that is the way it works for the following 2 minis too. So you can build totally 6 of them. And since the Dark Angels Battle Force has 2 sets of these lads, you can build all 6. Without any further ado, let's start with this lad. And we start, as always, with a torso and legs. Let's find beat number 1. This is our beat number 1. Beat number 1 requires legs 2 and 3. That should be here. This is leg number 2. And this is leg number 3. I have cleaned up all 3 beats. Let's see how they should be combined together. So the left leg should be here. It should be like this. There is a very distinctive look, this one. And you know how it should be sitting. So I'm just gonna go ahead and glue this leg. This is our first leg. And the second leg is supposed to be sitting over here. It should be in this position. This area will be covered later, and you only need to glue this bit, so it sits like this. And that is why I think it's a bit easier to put glue over here. And this is how the right leg is supposed to be attached. Alright, this is our lad so far. Now we need to find a bit 4 from his cloak. This is bit number 4. This is bit of the cloak 4 cleaned up. And as you can see, it has an indication of the lock over here. There is a small hole. And that means that it should be sitting here, like this. There we go. This is how it should be. And that also means that we better glue this thing this way. I'm gonna put some glue over here. Obviously, these parts are touching the cloak, and of course, the cloak itself is supposed to be glued somewhat. That should be enough. I'm myself not a fan of this kind of cloaks gluing, because there will be inevitably some extra glue and residue over here. But luckily for everybody, you can just scrape it later when it is dry, so no problem there. That is our lad so far. Now we need to put the beat 5 with the rest of the torso and the cloak to his front. This is beat number 5. This is our beat 5. It looks very ornate, has some cool things on it. Let's see how it should be attached to the rest of the body. Should be sitting like this. So as you can see, it's a lot of surface that should be glued. And we're gonna be very careful about that. So I'm gonna start putting glue here and there. So this area, this. And let's try to attach it. Here we go. And this is our lad with the torso, looking incredibly cool, wrapped in a cloak. Let me know in the comment section below, guys, if you know if this cloak is supposed to give them some sort of like a stealth or, I don't know, less visibility kind of bonuses, because I think that was implied in the description of these lads. And now we have to add some additional decorations, 6, 7, and 8. And let's start with the beat number 7. This is the beat number 7. Some plating with the seals of purity. Beat 7 is cleaned up. It has a very distinct look over here. So I think it's supposed to be sitting somewhere on this side, like this. I'm gonna put some glue on it around this area, and it should be sitting here, like this. Then we have to put beat 6 and 8. This is beat number 6, more additional plating with some pouches. And this is beat number 8, holster with a pistol. One of the things that I didn't notice is that he is standing with his back to us. That is why this thing should be on this side and not on this side. I was a bit puzzled why this lock is too large, and that is because another thing should be here. Now I can put this thing in the correct place, this side. I'm gonna put some glue around. Now it makes sense to me. And that is how it's supposed to be looking. So we have instructions set from the back pretty much. This is actually quite unusual. I don't think I am the only one who is gonna make this mistake, because usually when they show you the mini in the instruction set, the mini is looking from the front. But since this mini has a bunch of things to put at the back too, like this holster, that is why they did it this way. It reminds me some Lego instructions. When you assemble Lego, and if you're supposed to rotate your thing some other angle, they always have a symbol showing you that you should rotate your already assembled part in order to put more things on top of it. I think Games Workshop would benefit from this kind of symbol here too, like somewhere here in the corner saying, yeah, this mini rotated from front to back. That would be cool. Guys from Games Workshop, if you hear me, make this happen. This is gonna be a tremendous help. It will be a lot of less confusion. Anyways, we continue with the holster. Heavy bolt pistol holster with a heavy bolt pistol is sitting on his back. You can see there is a prominent lock over here, and there is a place where it should be very, very distinctive. Let's go ahead and glue it. I'm gonna put some glue around. Hopefully that is gonna be enough. And the pistol sits perfectly here. Nice. Now we have our lad's torso assembled. They also tell us to put this mini on the 40mm base. This set, Inner Circle Companions, all 3 of them are with 40mm bases. And this is the one that I have here. If you are completely unsure, you should probably use a pattern from Deathwing Knights, which might have multiple sizes, and double check if this is 40mm. In my case it is, because I was prepared. But sometimes, yeah, if you assemble a lot of them, you already know how 40mm should look like. Anyways, let's glue our guy to the base. And we're supposed to drop him on a base. Alright, this is our guy on a base. One thing to notice here, I think I messed up his left leg over here, you see? In the instruction set, it is supposed to be standing on the base, and in my case, he's kind of walking or rotating or something. I don't know why exactly, but it has something to do with this position. I think I just did it wrong. So when you do that, make sure that you actually try to put this assembly on the ground and see what happens. When we build the next guy, when we build the green guy, we definitely do this next time. In this case, it's still fine because I can still place him on this right foot and it will be fine. And now we are supposed to follow the blue instruction. So we are done with the common part, and now the specialized part kicks in. And the blue instructions are these ones. So we are supposed to start looking for arms 12, 16, and the sensor 18. Let's start with the arm 16. This is arm number 16. I have cleaned up the 16th arm, should be somewhere here in this kind of position. There is no lock over here, so you are supposed to figure out how it should be sitting yourself. I think it should be almost horizontal, because on the images he holds the sensor, and the sensor is supposed to be more or less horizontal. In order for me to figure out the exact position, I would like to clean up the bits 18 next and see how they should be combined together, so I know how to fix the arm. This is the sensor 18. I have cleaned up the sensor 18. Let's see how it should be combined. There is a lock over here, as you can see. Should be somewhat along these lines. You can vary the angle here to some degree. Let's glue these two bits at the same time, more or less. This way we will have the possibility to adjust them before the glue melts everything, and we can regulate the necessary position. This is how I think it should be. This is the angle. And then I'm gonna put some glue over here too, in order to place the sensor. Be very careful, because the first bit is not fixed yet. I think this is the correct position. At least it looks similar to what we have on this picture. So I think I'm gonna go with this positioning. And now to the right arm 12. This is the right arm number 12. I have cleaned up the right arm. It should be sitting somewhere here. You can decide on the angle yourself, but I think it should be something along these lines. So I'm just gonna go ahead and glue it. I think this is it. This bit might require partial assembly. So you see, this arm with the sword covers some pouches on his belt. So you might wanna assemble this arm separately. You paint it first and then you assemble it. I myself don't care that much. That is why I'm just gonna put it there immediately. Now they want us to do the shoulder pads 13 and 17. Let's start with the 17. This is the beat 17, the shoulder pad. The beat 17 is supposed to be sitting on his left shoulder, so it should be here, and I'm gonna glue it. It is actually quite peculiar that this 17 beat have a lock-looking thing over here, but there is nothing on his arm. Not entirely sure why. But yeah, let's roll with the punches. Let's just glue it. I'm a little bit paranoid by now with this mini, that I am assembling it incorrectly, but it looks like it's how it should be. And this guy has a very dynamic pose. He obviously rotating, and that is clearly seen by the smoke from this incense. And that is why these seals of purity also are in this direction. This is our guy so far. Now to the right shoulder pad 13. This is the right shoulder pad 13. The right shoulder pad is cleaned up, and it's supposed to be sitting on this shoulder. There we go. I'm gonna glue it. It also have a lock-looking thing, but you can see that there is nothing really here that will explain it. This is our lad so far. We did all these beats. Now we are supposed to go for the backpack 9 and some incense spreading iron halo looking thing 10 or 11. We're gonna go for 11 for sure. This is beat number 9. The backpack is cleaned up. Now I need the incense iron halo thing 11. And this is beat number 11. This iron halo represents everything I hate about iron halos. So if you look closely, you will see that there is a mold line in between these spikes, and it is almost impossible to remove it. Anyways, this thing is more or less cleaned up. Let's see how it should be assembled together. It should be along these lines. It should be sitting here. I'm gonna glue it. So it should be looking like this. Here we go. And the backpack should be sitting on the back of the guy. This is how it should look like. So I'm just gonna go ahead and glue it. I'm gonna put some glue here. And this is our lad so far. We also have a shield 14 to sit on his right shoulder. This is shield 14. The shield is cleaned up. It is very, very small. It is supposed to be attached somewhere here. It's supposed to be sitting on the shoulder pad along these lines. So I'm just gonna try to glue it over here at this area. But these shields always puzzled me. They are mainly here to hide defects of shoulder pads from the sprue. And in case of our guy, we don't have any. So technically this shield is not even necessary, but since other minis have it, I think they decided to have it here too. This is roughly how it should look like. It's basically protecting the armpit. He is wielding the greatsword with this arm, and they want this armpit to be protected. That is why the shield is here. Now we have to choose between head options 19 and 23. This is bit 19. And this is head 23. I think, needless to say, we go for the 19 because it has helmet over here. I almost lost head 19 twice. This is a personal record. I'm just gonna glue it directly before I lose it for sure. I'm gonna put some glue here. He is looking on his left. And believe it or not, this head is actually locked in this position, so you can't really move it around that much. It is sitting perfectly in this particular position, so the direction he is gazing at is fixed. Alright, this is our lad so far. And now the only piece that is missing is the greatsword, Calibanite greatsword 15. This is the greatsword 15, don't mix it up with the beat 20, that is the other flavor of this mini. The Calibanite greatsword looks incredibly cool. And let's see how it should be attached. He is supposed to be holding it somewhat along these lines. I'm gonna put some glue here and try to make it look good. Because you can see there is no lock whatsoever. So it's somewhat up to us to make it look great. This greatsword is definitely another bit that should probably be sub-assembled. You should paint it before you attach it to the body, because it will cover some parts of his shoulder. I myself don't care that much, but yeah, for those of you who want to paint minis perfectly, this is probably gonna be a concern. Alright, I think our mini is finished, but let's double check if we have done all the steps. We went through all these steps, we put this cloak, these beads, all these details. This is the back of the mini, remember, not the front. Then we follow the blue instructions. Arm sensor, 2 shoulder pads, backpack, a head, shield in front, and the greatsword. And this is, my friends, our finished miniature. Very, very nice looking miniature. It took me roughly 50 something minutes to assemble it. I would give it 5 service skulls out of 5 for the fun of building it, and I will give it 4 out of 5 for the easy to assemble part, because I definitely was able to mess up at least 2 things. First of all, these beads and these beads, they were swapped in my case. I didn't realize that in this case we're looking at the back of the guy instead of the front. And secondly, I messed up the foot at the very beginning, so it's not standing on the ground. I don't know how it happens, but I will definitely keep an eye on that next time we build the second flavor, the green version of this guy. This mini has a Calibanite greatsword over here. This is a Calibanite greatsword and a heavy bolt pistol in the holster. Very cool weapons. This is a sensor with some incense. Not entirely sure what this thing is doing. There are 2 options for the head, the helmeted one, like we chose, and the bare one, without any sort of helmets. This mini might require partial assembly for the greatsword and for this arm. Other than that, I think it's fairly easy to access other bits. A couple of words regarding this sprue. You can totally do this and detach this sprue from this part, because apparently this sprue is about the first guy, and I'm pretty sure that you can do the same kind of thing for this, because the small sprues look to be covering the dudes separately. Of course, we have some leftovers, but these leftovers are gonna be used for the other flavor of the mini, for the green one. In this case, this is another hat, pretty much. Yeah, by the way, apart from the different hats, you could also use the Iron Halo without incense. That is interesting. Let's compare this guy to some other minis that we have built recently. I have on my right the Night Master from the same Task Force box, Inner Circle Task Force Battle Force. They actually look very similar. You can say they're from the same chapter. We can see these swords with wings, and the stylistics looks very, very similar. Iron halos. They look surprisingly organic standing next to each other. Comparing these lads to Primaris Captain from the recent Kill Team box and previously from Space Marine Heroes Series 4 box, you can see that they are of a similar size. Both of them are using the 40mm base, and they also look fairly organic next to each other. Both use Iron Halos, look very similar. And this is how this guy compares to the Ultramarine champion, Lieutenant Titus, also known as Captain Titus to some of my viewers. Really cool mini. They look organic with each other too. 40mm bases, so this is a kind of standard de facto for Space Marine heroes or more important units. Alright, my friends, that is gonna be pretty much it for today. Let me know in the comment section below what do you think of the new miniatures of Inner Circle companions. Do they look cool to you? Have you assembled any of them? Let me know. If you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. It will really help me to move forward. And I will see you guys in the next video. Max is out. Take care. Bye.